You're listening to the Shipyard Cat Podcast, the unofficial SAFC podcast for fans everywhere. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the pod. Hosting tonight, because obviously we played Oxford, well, so why not? It's myself, Kev, and I am joined by Adam, Robin and Tom. So we've got almost a full house. Only Chris is not with us, but we'll get there. Eventually we'll have a whole group on. So lads, how are we? Let's start with Tom for a change. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Enjoyed the game. Glad to be back on.
And what about Robin? Obviously, you also made the trip down to the lake side that is Oxford.
Yeah, good, mate. It was an experience to say the least.
And Adam, you enjoy watching it from the car park, or did you watch it from the comfort of your own home?
I enjoyed the warmth. Just looking at those lovely boating conditions down in Oxford, I was glad that I had the lovely warm weather to look after.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a feel for the lads that travelled to be an hour before kickoff, or 2 hours before kickoff, seeing posts on social saying it could well be off with the weather. That is a long journey to have a game in the balance 2 hours before kickoff. I mean, at least, lads, you would have had something to do if the game was called off, because obviously in the car park, you have got a bowling alley, a cinema, and a couple of restaurants. So if you did get bored, you had something to do for the journey. I mean, come on, lads. I know I pelted them, and I did all the way through the previous seasons. What did you make of the ground? Come on, that's got to be an experience. If you've not been there before, describe it to a listener that's not ventured down to the sunny Kassam.
It just feels like a bigger non-league ground, really, doesn't it? Facilities are a bit not amazing. Obviously, quarter of it's missing. Nothing around it, apart from the world's worst sports bar. I'd rather not go back.
Go on, Robin. Your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, Tom's got it spot on there. I mean, we went into a pretty poor sports bar. Quarter of the ground missing. Obviously, they're not allowed to build that because the car park's taking up the space. Absolutely miles from Oxford itself as well.
Yep.
It's a strange place, to say the least.
It is, isn't it? I mean,
there's certain non-league grounds that have got bigger attendances than them.
I mean, when they built it, a bit of a history lesson. The council kind of approved it because originally their ground was literally in Oxford city centre, and it was a nightmare to get in and out of. So the council approved that one. Now, obviously, they have had a permission to build a new stadium. Again, in Oxford. Oh, no, it's not. It's in a place called Kidlington, which is a little village outside Oxford. About 20 minutes, actually, by bus. And they've given them 12,000 capacity for the new stadium. But it will have 4 sides. So at least it'll look great in League One. But yeah, lads, I mean, let's talk about the football. That ground, it does make me chuckle every time I watch their games or hear anything about their games. Because also, lads, do you know what else you did on Sunday? Not only did you upset Oxford by us winning, you also stopped them having their car boot sale. They have a car boot every Sunday in the car park. So you've ruined people's weekends, lads. I hope you're proud of yourselves. Not only did they lose the boat race in the summer to Cambridge, they then lost the boat race against us on Sunday. Just devastating. Apparently we cheated the whole game. I mean, lads, let's get straight into that then. Decision making. Was Sirkin's pen a pen? Was it I mean, to be fair, from where you lads were sitting, it was a bit of a distance, but your take on it? It's a pen?
It's a pen, yeah. You can see Sirkin's foot get to the ball just before. I don't know who the defender was, but you can see his foot get there just before him.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it back, and it's not conclusive on the replay either, but it does look like Sirkin just does nick the ball and the defender just takes his foot away. It's very similar. I said it at the time. It's similar to obviously him against Burnley last season when Isidore missed the penalty. It's the same sort of thing where he's going nowhere really, and he just tempts the defender in to, tap his legs. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, it looked like a penalty at the time, but TV replays, I mean, was it? I mean, from your side of it, was it a penalty or wasn't it?
For me, it's one of those. It's similar to what we alluded to the other week. It's one of those, if it's 50-50. One day it can go for you. You can get it, and we did. The other week, you don't get it. To me, I agree with what you were saying there, Robin. Based on if you watch it back, Cirkin was going nowhere. He was looking to try and do something with it, and effectively ran out of ideas of what to do with the ball, and did similar to what happened to us in the championship. I think it was Trey that brought the play. No, it was Dan Neil. Sorry, that brought player down in the box for similar sort of thing. The player came in the box, lost an idea. Daniel sticks his foot out. Oh, there's a foot. I'll fall over it. Pen. I think it was one of them, and we're lucky to get it. And beautiful finish by Habib, to be fair.
I like the fact that we are mixing up the penalty takers. It is keeping teams guessing. I thought it was a nice cold penalty. The fact that he didn't even kind of look at it and just kind of, it was almost like a stare down and bang in the corner it went, which was great. But for me, it's given. If it's given against you, you're annoyed. But then, in like you say, the cold light of day, you look at it on a replay and you go, "Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough." Were we disappointed with a 1-0?
Yes.
I know we all wanted a cricket score, but a team that's, struggling in the championship, then new manager Bloomfield, he's obviously trying to say, look, yeah, we're losing games, but we are also trying to find a way to get a bit motivated. They probably wanted that as a chance to get a bit of positivity going. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for them. But what do we think was the problem? Now, that sounds like a really open question because I want it to be a discussion. Was it Wilson couldn't get what he needed to? Was it Mayenda? Was it just a lack of finishing? Or was it just generally that Oxford sat very defensive and there was just no opportunity to break through, which is disappointing when you think who we are in terms of a Premier League team with what we have available versus 23rd in the Championship. With this one, I want to go to Robin first. I think that's a nice way to start. Adam's gutted because that means he probably will just have to say, yeah, I agree. But over to you, Robin.
To be fair, I think, we had chances, but obviously we had a lot of players that haven't played a lot of minutes in the sort of like attacking, phases. The biggest thing to me was that Wilson doesn't suit our style of play anymore. He made quite a few runs where he was trying to hit the channels, but we're not playing them balls through. And that's the thing. I mean, obviously we've seen rumours of Wilson wanting away and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be surprised in the summer if he is away because his style of football, the type of striker he is, doesn't fit with what we're doing at the moment. Look, we had opportunities. Their keeper made, I don't know how many saves. To be fair, I think most were pretty comfortable, with the exception of Talby's one, which obviously did really well to tip over. But with Mundell and Mundell had a couple, where he's at least he's shooting, but not far enough in the corner sort of thing. But yeah, I mean we did deserve to, I think, score a few more goals. I think it would. I don't think it would have flattered us if we had won 3 or 4-0 with the opportunities that we had.
One time, your take?
Yeah, I think Oxford they sat in quite well, defended well. Obviously, Isidore only having one shot, it's clear that he don't fit the style of play anymore. Most of our attacks went wide. Um, I think the majority of our shots came from Mundle cutting in and putting them straight at the keeper as well. Um, but I think if Mayenda was playing in the middle, instead of Isidore, sorry, um, we would have. I think we would have won 2 or 3-0 because obviously his ability to hold the ball up in the middle and get a shot off, it's much better than Isidore's. So yeah, I think that was the biggest problem, the lack of like a focal point in the middle. Um, yeah, I think Mayenda or Robbie in the middle, we win by a few more.
Do you think part of that is sort of lack of game time for Wilson? You got to think he's getting what 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there in bit parts, and like you both just said there, the style of play is changing. We're not necessarily putting the ball through to him and saying, run. I think he had that one pretty clear chance where he ends up smashing it into the side netting. I think a more confident Wilson buries that. Last season, he puts that in, I think. I mean, Adam, your take on that one?
For me, I think it is the case that Isidore prefers somewhat of a ball over the top and he can run onto, and or he can run at a defender one on one, take it past him and put it in the corner. The style we're playing at the minute is the ball comes over the top, you're expected to hold it, play it to likes of a Talby, a Lafay, for them to get onto the end of it. Isidore's not about that kind of style. He wants the ball himself. He wants to do that run himself. Similar to Mayenda. Obviously, Mayenda's adapting. He's quite a young lad, so he can adapt. Whereas Isidore, I think he's set in his ways now where he's like, give me the ball, I'll finish it. And on the weekend, unfortunately, that wasn't Isidore's game. You could see instantly as soon as the Mayenda came on, the game style shifted to be somewhat what Robbie would have been like on the game where Miranda was trying to hold it up, play it out wide, put it to the middle and stuff like that. So you can see the difference. And as much as I don't want to admit it, I do agree with Robin. I think in the summer, Isidore may go. I think he'll go to possibly a championship team or back abroad. And I think he'll get back to where he was once and get his confidence back.
That point. I think in terms of going in the summer, for me, for the club to probably look at moving him on a loan somewhere to get him some
Yeah.
game time. Very similar to what they've done with Hamir, but maybe the difficulty I think is where do you send him? In the nicest possible way. It's you send him down to the championship, you're kind of showing that's the level you think he is. If you lend him out to somewhere in Europe, I mean, look at, Simon Adingra. Can't get in our squad, but he's currently playing for Monaco against PSG. Like, do you send him out somewhere in Europe and say, go and get some very competitive football under your belt, get your confidence back, and then see where we're at? Or, Robin, your thoughts on this one? Do they cash in? Is he
Well, I
worth
think
more than what we paid for him?
he's worth a lot more than what we paid for him. I mean, we cash in. I mean, there was rumours of obviously, bids from Paris FC, Everton, Forest in the January transfer window. So he's obviously I mean he's not going to go at the Championship. I mean that's just ridiculous, really, to me. He's going to play at that higher level, but it's just do we want to sell him to another Premier League club, which let's face it, probably a I'm going to say a mid-table rival. He's not going to go to a top six team or anything, is he? But I think he's going to go to sort of like a mid-table Prem team, or like you say, to one of the top leagues in Europe. I mean, he's got bags of pace and that, and he can finish. But like I say, it just doesn't suit our style of play. I mean, as we've said, like when Mayenda come on, I mean, he almost scored straight away. His virtually first touch
First
of the
touch.
ball. You know, and you see the players that we're bringing in. Obviously, we brought in Nilson Angulo, a tricky winger who's running with the ball. We obviously got Shemsdene Talby again running with the ball. We've got Romain Mundle running with the ball, and I must say, and I think Tom will agree with me here, what an absolute find we've got in Jocelyn Tarby. I mean, he looks like he is going to set the league alight. He really does. He is just everything you want from a winger.
Yeah.
Nicely put. I mean, Tom, go on. Your take on this one?
The Isidore situation.
Yeah. Just obviously, I know you've got sort of a bit of your sort of journalism knowledge in there. If you're a journalist and you're hearing murmurings about Isidore getting touted by other clubs, your take on that one? Sort of, do you think some
It's
of the conversations have a bit of weight behind them, or do you think a little bit of it's maybe agent fodder?
I do think some of the talk was true. There was rumours of Besiktas wanting him as well, but my opinion on it is a bit brutal. I don't think he's going to fit a Libri style of play in the Premier League again. So if we get a decent offer in the summer, I'd be looking to ship him on for it. If we do get a decent offer, I'll be looking to move him on and invest in it into another younger striker, kind of like in the mould of Brian Brobby, more suited to the physicality in the Premier League.
That's the thing, isn't it? The sort of play that we had against Oxford, a lot of the balls that were being put in eventually after, like you say, the runners were very much a Brobby kind of ball. He would have done something more with those opportunities. But I think fair play for resting him. It's one of those where obviously we've got a massive game coming up on Sunday, which we'll talk about on the next pod. But you do need to sometimes rest these players to give them, well, they need a break. I know we're not at the Saturday, Tuesday levels we were last season, but I think the intensity of the Premier League and probably the pace of it, I think, is what's probably catching Isidore out a little bit. I want to talk about Tarby, not Talby, Adam. Tarby.
I was just about to comment on that because of Sky Bet throwing everybody under the bus with that. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Yeah.
I think it was to win one foul. Somebody put a bet on Tarby. I think it was like 50 quid for him to get fouled once. It came through, but Sky Bet don't believe that Sunderland have a player called Tarby. The thing
Yeah, I
was
saw that.
Talby, and said it didn't count in the 90 minutes. Thankfully, I believe it's all now been resolved, so that lucky punter has got his money now. But it was just hilarious. Just we knew this day would come of a bit of confusion between the both, and lo and behold, first game of the FA Cup that he's played, it's the confusion instantly.
No, this is true. I mean, look, at least they did take off Talby for Tarby because the
Exactly.
TNT commentators could have probably got that more wrong than you wouldn't want to imagine. They were awful commentators, but let's not get into that. Let's talk about the game. Obviously, Robin, you've just sung high praise there, so I'm guessing he impressed you.
Yeah. I mean, the club have got it right by putting Jocelyn on the back of his shirt, so there shouldn't be any confusion, really. But yeah,
That'll be good
I
for me
mean,
then.
he just honestly he came on and he was just, I think the word's electric. I mean, he just has something about him. He's skillful, he's direct, he's nimble, close control. I mean, yeah, he had a shot, dragged it a little bit wide, but it's just the fact that he isn't out and out attacking player. He's a player that we've sort of, in a way, been missing at times, who's going to run at people and cause problems. Like you say, with the likes of a Brobby, who's going to, hold the ball up and back into defenders and occupy people. It's going to give him great opportunity. And I mean, the lad can pick a pass out and everything. And it like I say, I just can't believe we found a player like that and no one else has sort of like, sort of come in for him. And I mean, all the talk was in January about Nilsson Angulo because he's one that we have heard of. But honestly, I think Jocelyn is an absolute superstar in the making.
He's quite cheap as well, wasn't he? He was only 3.5 mil, wasn't he?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah,
you
three and a half.
say cheap. I'd like 3.5 million in my pocket.
Wouldn't we
Yeah.
all?
Go on, Tom, your take on it. Was he as electric as Robin thinks?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been saying it on Twitter because obviously he's a Ivorian right winger, but he reminded me a lot of Ahmad in his, I think it was 12 minutes when he came on the other day, like dribbling past people, making them look like they're not even there. Obviously, he missed that shot, but another day it goes in. Yeah, I think he looked really good considering the only football he's played professionally was in the Israeli second division and a little bit in the top division.
You've got to sometimes wonder, where do we find them? Don't we? I mean, yeah, telly coverage of him wasn't great. I'll be honest with you, lads. Because at that point, the TNT commentators were just adamant that we should have been down to 10 men because of the scissor tackle, and they just kept talking about the penalty being the deciding factor in the game. So yeah, unfortunately for us TNT viewers, we didn't get to kind of see the wonders that he was. We got to see his run through where he, like you say, he left about six people standing, and then obviously yeah, he puts that shot wide. But that is literally all they showed us. We didn't see anything else he really did. Um, so yeah, it's interesting to hear your perspective, lads, from pitch side to sort of see what did he do. Was he everything that we've kind of seen on social? But by the sound of it, yes, he was. I've seen the comments like you said, Tom, about him being Ahmad-esque. Do we think he's a plan for next year, or do we think he's possibly there to push someone in the team to work harder? Go
I
on,
I
mean,
Robin.
reckon
yeah, to me, I mean, sorry, it's like we were all like
I was looking at
I was
so.
Robin,
going to
but I
say,
didn't say his name.
To
we're
me, I
all ready
thought
to say something.
I actually thought that when we bought him, it was sort of like said that he was going to go into the unders for next season and that, and he was possible due surgery. But this isn't a lad for next year. This is a lad for now.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, he will push people on. I mean, he's going to be playing in that position. I mean, you know, does he? Does he? I mean, we got to think Bertrand Traore's out injured at the moment as well. But also, what impressed me with Tarbese, or Jocelyn, as we'll probably call him, is he actually got back and did some defensive work as well. You know, he wasn't right. He wasn't one of those players that's just going to, you know, sit forward and stuff. They've already got it into him that it's a team and we're working for it. And I mean, I must say what the lad said about, you know, he's got his shirt and he's going to frame it and put it up in his apartment. I thought was absolutely fantastic. You know, it seems like he's already bought into the whole ethos of the club.
Which is something we've definitely lacked in the past with some players. I would not say with this squad, but there's definitely some players that have joined us in the past that have said the right things in their first ever interview and then have done the complete polar opposite. Pervader, I'm looking at you. Tom, your takes. Do you think this is a first teamer sub impact player, or do we think a project?
yeah, I wasn't sure when he signed, and I still wasn't sure when he came on the other day. But after that little cameo, I think if he can keep that up, he's more than ready to make an impact between now and the end of the season, even if it is only in the cup or against like teams lower in the table, like Wolves or whatever. But yeah, I do think he can make an impact between now and the end of the season, especially while Traore is still injured.
Nicely put. And go on, Adam. Is this your latest hot fancy? Obviously, we know you like your Enzos and
No, I'll
stuff, but do
stick
we
to
think
Enzo.
Harvey's going to be the new poster boy?
No, I'll stick to Enzo still.
So
After,
he's not French, so he's
Oh,
got
he's
no
not
hope.
French.
exactly. Very,
Got that
very,
wrong.
very, very, very in between that change. No, to me, I do agree with everyone's comments there. It is going to be one of those where I think he is going to be utilised this season. Obviously, as Robin said there, at first we did believe that it was going to be possibly teetering around playing for the unders a little bit this year, then used more next year. But I think what's going to happen with Traore out, he'll come in the fold a little bit more, and then when Traore is back, it is going to be some good competition on that side. to see who gets in the fold, because we know Traore can still skip past people, get the ball across. But likewise, will he be used as a little bit of a mentor for Jocelyn as well, to go, this is what's been achieved from this, and this is the kind of style that you want to be at. Go, put your own spin on it. Is it stuff like that? I think it's going to be very interesting when we've got the full fit squad for what Regis decides to do.
Nice to have a headache like that to think about sometimes, isn't it? When you look at the squad and you go, "Oh, injury, injury." You start to worry, don't you, about that lack of depth a little bit. But yeah, I think it's useful to have these versatile players that are almost a little bit of an unknown, if that makes sense. Obviously, we've brought him in. Angulo's another one that we've brought in, and a lot of teams are like, where did that come from? How did you get that one over the line? And I like that style of our business. Who, something we haven't done in a long time. Who was your player of the match, lads? I'm going to start with Adam on this one for Oxford.
For me, Luke. I know it's very strange for me to always to choose Luke, because I know he's your golden boy, Kev. But for me, with Luke, it was more just the calmness at the back, the resolute. Yes, he got in a little bit of a scrap, but when does Luke not get in the mix of a scrap when he's on the pitch? But it was more the fact being as captain for the game, he looked so assured and he just looked relaxed and managed to to me, effectively put a calmness across the lads to go, right, have fun, play football. And you could hear it on his post-match comments as well, where he was like, what do you make of this? He was like, I'm all for this. We've played them many times in the past. I'm sure I'll come across, I think it was Lancashire, I'll come across them again probably sometime in the future. And I was like, are you trying to say that we're going to go in for him or something like that? But it was more the fact being that he spoke so highly of the lads, and you could tell the ethos was there again, and just the flow was all driven by his coaching somewhat ability.
Yeah, I mean, Robin, I'm surprised you didn't jump in there. Obviously, Lancashire is a player we have been rumoured to go for in the past. Obviously, he's a Tottenham kid, isn't he? He's on loan to Oxford at the moment. So, is that Luke saying that this kid's going to go places, i.e., we're going to face him again at another team? Or are we going to face him as in he's going to be replacing Wilson, maybe? You never know. Tom, your player of the match for this one?
I said Enzo full time the other day. I think it was just his usual self, playing nice passes all over, winning the ball back a lot. Yeah, he played. I think it was Talby's shot when he nearly scored. He played a nice little ball into Talby for that. Yeah, I think it was solid 8 or 9 out of 10.
Go on, Robin. I'll be stunned if this is Luke. Like,
It's definitely not Luke, because I mean, to me, I think Luke was a little bit lucky at times. I think he got too preoccupied with the battle with Lancashire, and I think he was a little bit of a liability at times. He got more involved with that rather than playing the football. Obviously, it's things you notice, obviously, when you're there, than rather than watching it on TV. It's going to be hard to disagree with Tom, really. I think Enzo was probably that little level above. I would like to, though, give a shout out for Ryan Mundell, because I thought Mundell played really well. He was what we wanted, what I said was missing from his game the other week, about him running at people, actually shooting. And I'm just hoping that that's given him the confidence to do that going forward in the Premier League. So yeah, to me it's a toss-up between Enzo and Mundell, but probably Enzo did just edge it because he was absolutely everywhere, and he did basically control the game. It was one of those things that it's an easy game for him. I mean, just before we close it off, Kev, I just want to give a shout out. Obviously, there was young Jack Whitaker on the bench for the first time. Obviously, he didn't get a come on, but to be involved in that, and as well, young Finn Garagusian, travelled with the squad as well, and I think that's quite big, and it's probably showing his progress of what they're going to do with him if they're starting to get him involved in like a match day squad like that. Yeah, albeit a weakened match day squad, because obviously you say Ballard, Alderete, etc. never travelled, but it's to be part of that team, and it shows that pathway that we always talk about coming forward into the first team.
100%. Same for Jenson Jones. Obviously, he got the call up for the bench as well, didn't he? So, no, great point. It's. I think it's an opportunity for some of these players to kind of experience the whole first team thing, if that makes sense. I know it's hard to sort of say it traveling down to Oxford. It's not exactly the most exciting thing for the lads, but it's to be involved in the game, the build up, the warm ups, because it's a bit different, isn't it? Doing it at Appleton or doing it at the academy, but actually getting on the team bus, making that journey, and then being in the sort of like the thick of it. It is a different level. I haven't really got much else to say, lads, other than obviously we're into the next round. Preference of who we face then? Bristol, Port Vale. I'm watching the Bristol game obviously at the moment. It's 2 apiece against Wrexham. We know Bristol from Championship of old. We know that's going to be a rough game. Personally, I prefer Port Vale. Travelling wise, Robin, which one's easier for you to get to, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably Bristol's probably easier to get to, but to be fair, it's Bristol City, and let's face it, years in the Championship, we never had really great results down there, did we?
Yeah.
They were sort of a little bit of a bogey team for us, but I mean, yeah, we should, on our day, be able to deal with them anyway. I mean, it might be a case of if it is Bristol, we'll maybe travel with the stronger squad
Yeah.
than what we would if it was Port Vale. Maybe if it's Port Vale, we'll go with a similar squad to what we did against Oxford. Whereas Bristol, then it might be, the likes of Ballard and Alderete and probably actually travel. I mean, who knows? The only thing is, obviously, I think they play on, is it the Tuesday or the Wednesday night, and the games are scheduled for the weekend. So
Yeah. That was going to be my point towards Tom, was going to be what's his take on the scheduling? Do we try it? Well, do you think they try and reschedule the replay and disrupt the league game for Bristol or Port Vale? Or do we think it is going to be played at the start of March, literally 4 days before the next game against us? Because how do you organise that as a club for allocation, and also where are you going? Go on, Tom. We've only got a couple of minutes left, but I'll throw that one at you quickly.
I think they'll keep the game when it's meant to be, but obviously there's an FA Cup slot on Monday night for TV. I don't know if Port Vale Sunderland screams Monday night TV, but there's always a chance it could be moved to the Monday to give people an extra day to sort things out. And yet Port Vale's my preference between the two. Get through to the quarterfinals, hopefully.
Valid point. I didn't think about the Monday night slot.
I mean, I must say, I'm hoping it's a Sunday again, because obviously I'm in Milan until the Saturday. So,
We're having a Macam in Milan. Apparently, that's not a
yeah,
thing.
I know it's a bit bizarre, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, we're straight after the Leeds game. Me and middle boy are flying out to Milan to watch Milan versus Como in the Coppa Italia.
Nice. That sounds like an ideal weekend away, that.
Right, so midweek away.
Yeah, true. What would you rather do? Leeds, Milan.
Well, it's at the minute it'll be Leeds, Milan, and possibly either Bristol or Port Vale. I mean, it's,
You go to all the nicest places, Robin.
yeah, it's not the most glamorous of ends to the week.
No, definitely not. All right, lads. I'm going to wrap this one up. Adam, I'm sorry I didn't have time to come to you on that one, but I know your preference is Port Vale.
Yep.
So look, to our listeners, thank you for listening. We've obviously waffled on here about beating Oxford. I never thought I'd get a 40-minute pod of just rambling on about Oxford being rubbish, but you know, they are. They always will be. They always have been, and enjoy League One next season. Robin, thank you for joining me, mate.
No, cheers, Kev. It's nice for you to have your little moan at Oxford. I know how much you love them.
It's all them years, right? I'll give people the story quickly. It's all them years of living in Oxford as a Sunderland fan and being told, why do you support them? They're rubbish. Look at them crumble. Look at them drop. Look at this. Look at that. And here we are. Mind the gap. Tom, thank you for joining me, mate.
Cheers, I enjoyed it.
And Adam, you can have your hot seat back, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah. At one point I'll get it back. I suppose if we win on the weekend, I'll take it back over.
Don't know about that. Might give it to Tom next. Look, the listeners, thank you for listening. We will catch you all on the next one.